I mean, check that out. Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Right, today we are going to upgrade the LED under headlight strips. They're looking a little bit old, and I found something which I'm hoping is going to look wicked. So let's go on a journey and let's get this done. Right everybody, this is what we're going to use. This is a LED strip. It's slightly thicker, and so it probably sit better under the light, not leaving a gap. And it's in a white, it's full LED. So we're going to remove the headlight. We're going to wire it up first, or get the wiring done, and hopefully I can use the connection that I've already got in place. So it should be fairly simple. We're just going to strip this down, use the same connector, connect essentially the red positive and the black negative to these, and we should be good to go. Obviously remove the headlight, fit it underneath, and let's see how this works out. Okay, so I've just exposed the wiring that I did last time. Basically, I've used this connector a couple of times now. The reason is, if you have, or you're going to do under headlight LEDs for like DLRs, try and find something that has one of these connectors, because if you ever need to change them or revamp them, you can remove this connector and then connect it back up to another LED strip, and you just plug it back in. You don't have to take all your wiring back out again. So that's a pretty good idea if you are doing this. Try and find something that has these connectors, which makes your life easier if something blows, if they go, which sometimes they do. They're not expensive at all. You can pick these up between 5 and 10 quid, to give yourself the sort of daylight look underneath your headlights without removing or stripping down your headlights. So having a connector like this, once you've wired it all up, is a good idea, and then you can just reuse the connector. So let's get these wires off and then connect the new ones, and let's see how that looks. Okay, so I've removed the connector. I'm not going to use the yellow, which is for basically indicator. In fact, this new one doesn't have an indicator option, so we're just going to wire up the red and the black to black and the white, and let's see how these look. Okay, so that's wired up for the moment, and let's see if this works. Okay, key's not detected. Wow, look at that. Not sure if you're picking it up in the light, but whoa, that is pretty bright. In fact, that's pretty good. Wow, I'm impressed with that. I'm not sure if you can see that. Whoa. Okay, so the idea is we're going to get this under here, and that's going to make a proper DLR driving during the day. That looks amazing. We will consider taking the headlights apart at some point, and these will sit inside. That was the original idea to do, but today I wanted to obviously see what they looked like before moving ahead, which they look pretty amazing. So what we're going to do today is we're going to remove the headlight now. We're going to get them taped up correctly. Let's just test and make sure and when we turn the car off, they also go off. Let's check that out first. Right, let's do that. Button off. Let's wait a few seconds. Everything should go off. There we go. Perfect. Right, let's crack on. Right, fantastic. It's just started to rain, so we're going to hold fire for the moment. Let's not mess around with electrical work and rain, especially when I've got to take the headlight out. So hopefully it will stop in a moment and we can get this done, because that looks amazing, and I'm really looking forward to just getting that first one stuck underneath the headlight and then moving on to the next. So fingers crossed it stops raining in a mo and we can get this completed. Okay, rain stopped, so let's crack on. I've shown you this before, but if you're ever taking your headlights out, really simple. One bolt here, slides forward, and then you want to remove the power just there. It's a little bit awkward. You have to pull it up and sort of rest it on your knee, and try not to scratch the underside of the bumper. There's a little tab just here. You might just use a screwdriver, just open it up, and then that should pull off with a bit of force, and then you can take your headlight out. Right, excuse the horrible looking boots. It does need clean, and we've just put a blanket down for the moment. But removal of these are very simple. I mean, the likelihood is they're just going to peel off. Pretty simple, like so. Keep this to one side. I mean, there's nothing wrong with these, so you know, you might want to reuse them at another date if necessary. So we're just going to pull this off anyway, and then as you can see, hopefully this comes off the double-sided tape in one piece. So I'll do that with two hands. Probably won't, and it's a real pain, so you might need to use some glass cleaner or something like that, window cleaner, just to clean this up. I'd advise cleaning the whole area up before you put the new ones on. Actually, this is working out pretty well. It seems to be coming off in one piece, so we're just going to do that slowly, try and get it all off in one. As I say, it's a real pain if it doesn't. Yes, good. That makes my life a lot easier. So let's get this cleaned up and then get the new ones on. Okay, so we are set, ready for the next stage. We're just going to let that dry out a second. So that's cleaned, and hopefully all the contaminants removed. And then we're going to use double-sided tape. This is from Halfords. It's 25mm. I love this stuff. It is super sticky. I've never had any trouble with it, so I recommend using something like this. And then we're going to lay that, as you've seen in previous videos, around here to use on the strip. I wouldn't use what comes with it. It's fairly useless. It says 3M, but it's never 3M. It's fake. So I'd remove that. We're going to remove that from here and then stick those to here. So I'm just considering whether to actually cut this down. You probably, utilizing this particular strip, you won't need 25mm. You can probably go for the 12, I think 12.5. The other LEDs here are obviously a lot thicker, and the way they're made, the problem is with these is when you lay them flat, the LEDs are obviously on the sort of back edge, so the light doesn't really come out that well. It looks good at night, but not so much during the day. Whereas this, I'm hoping, as just shown, although we had them obviously upright, we're still going to get a good coverage of light. So 25mm probably overkill for that particular LED. So what we might do is just cut this down in half. So let's crack on. Okay, so what I've done is I basically laid the 25, I laid it out first onto the headlight, and then I've just, normally I would stick it to the LED first and then stick that to the headlight, but I've done it the opposite way around this time. I've just left a little infill there for the end where it's got the cap, so it just sits a little bit nicer, so it's not raised. And then what we'll probably do now is we'll just use a Stanley blade and just cut the excess off. But that looks pretty nice, sitting pretty. So we're going to get this back on because I think it's about another downpour. So let's see how this fits in. Right, okay, so yeah, just gave that a trim down with a Stanley. And now we're going to get this into the car. Okay, so I've just plugged the wire back in for the lights. Make sure you give that a good push and it's down in securely. And then now we're just going to sort of marry these up. I'm a little bit worried about this side because it was quite tight on the other ones, so let's just see how this sits in a second. Okay, so that's clipped in quite nicely. No real issues. Sits nicely in the gap, so it doesn't look any worse. I think it looks quite nice. I think the white of this now marries the white of the fog light LEDs, so it ties in quite nicely. So let's get this plugged in and see what this looks like. Right, everybody, I'm not sure if you're picking that up, but look at that. Now obviously we're in bright sunlight right now, but that compared to the other side is far better. Actually looks like a fully white glow underneath the headlight. That looks good. You're still not getting the full potential because it's obviously at an angle. Most of the light is coming from the bottom, but that's still a hell of a lot better. You could try and mount it on its side, but I don't think it would stick. There's probably no harm in giving that a go. I might look at that on the other one, and then we could maybe change it. But that looks good in comparison. So that, in comparison to that, I mean, these work great at night, but during the day that looks awful. That's a lot better. Right, let's crack on. Right, so on this one, what we're going to do is we're going to try and lay it, rather than sitting flat, we're going to lay it on its side. We're going to go and see if this will work. Obviously, the surface area isn't as large as the back. Obviously, if you're using it for a headlight, then you'd get the full coverage because it's sitting on the inside and sitting flat, so you'd see the whole light. Obviously, when you're putting it onto the bottom of the light, most of the light's coming from here, the top. So I'm going to try and put it on its side and see if this works. Okay, I did try it. We tried to set it up flush that way, but it didn't work. It wasn't sticking. There's just not enough like surface area to stick it, and plus it has this kind of gap in the middle, so it just wouldn't work. It just wouldn't stick properly. I could probably have left it, but the likelihood is it'll just fall off anyway. So we've gone with this, laying it flat, and the light output is fine anyway. So you know, and as I say, this is kind of when I first did this, you know, probably a year or two ago, when I first did this and I put it online for you guys, it was kind of a thought. I just thought, oh yeah, you know, let's fill the gap, let's have some fun, and it worked out really well, and everyone sort of, you know, actually liked it and started doing it to theirs. So, you know, I'm pleased that it's worked for everybody. But hopefully something like this will work better for you if you haven't done it, or you might change it up and go for something like this. So, well, let's get this out and get this on the car. Okay, both headlights are back in, so let's get the car turned on before we put the screws or the bolts back in for the lights. Let's just check this is working okay. Oh, there we go, we're on. Check this out. Yeah, that looks so much better. I mean, with bright sunlight, and you can see, as I say, the output's not bad even at that angle, but that's going to look wicked at night. So pretty pleased, didn't take long. Well, let's get the bolts back on the headlights and call it a day. Right everybody, well that completes the installation of the under headlights LEDs, which are useful for obviously DLRs during the day. They look so much brighter than the original strips that I used before. I've used a couple of different options in the past, but these are looking wicked. We will get more to when we split the headlights, so that will be a task to do. Looking forward to that in the next few episodes of this. Not too sure when that will happen, but it's having the time to get that done. But really pleased. If it's something that you want to do, I'll leave a link in the description. If you're passing through and haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to obviously get any new videos, updates. So I look forward to you on the next one. Cheers.